Welcome, this is the second video improving scaling with the worker MPM. In the previous video we saw how to configure Apache with TLS. In this video we will configure the worker MPM on Ubuntu 14.04, then execute A2 query and swap out the existing MPM. Apache 2 offers a variety of multiprocessing modules, MPM, for defining how the daemon will handle scaling. The default is typically pre-fork, which is a simple MPM which uses separate processes for handling each request. Scaling can be improved by using the worker MPM or the newer event MPM, which utilize threading in addition to processes in order to improve performance. Cool, now let's see how to do it. Configuring the worker MPM on Ubuntu 14.04. Ubuntu 14.04 uses the multi-threaded event MPM by default, but it may be disabled automatically if any non-thread safe modules such as modern PHP are enabled. To determine which MPM is in use, execute A2 query-m in order to determine what is configured. You may then swap out the existing MPM with these codes you can see. Note that the preceding action will fail if you have any non-thread safe modules enabled. Configuring the worker MPM on CentOS 7. CentOS 7 uses the pre-fork MPM by default, since it's the more compatible offering, but it does ship a variety of MPMs in the package. The definition of which MPM is to be used can be found in etc httpd conf.modules.d00-mpm.conf. Just comment out the existing MPM and uncomment the desired one before restarting the service httpd restart. So now we saw how to do it, and you must be eager to know how it works, right? So let's see how it's working. In order for Apache to scale to handle large numbers of simultaneous connections, it uses a potentially large number of processes. Each processor that runs uses up a fixed amount of memory, meaning that the more connections you are using at a given time, the more memory you are consuming on your system. Loaded modules such as modern PHP add to the memory utilization for each process, increasing memory consumption further. Additionally, if your web application code interacts with databases, then each Apache process that is running code which interacts with the database will require its own database connection. This can cause additional resource drains as you increase the number of connections that your database needs to deal with. In order to give people the flexibility for how they handle connections, Apache is very configurable. There are derivatives, which define the number of processes to run at startup, start servers, as well as a minimum and maximum number of spare or idle servers which should be running, min spare servers, max spare servers. For workloads that require the ability to handle many more connections, you need to look into Apache's options for multiprocessing modules, MPM. The two main MPMs you should look at for Unix-like systems are the pre-fork MPM, which is the default, and the worker MPM. The pre-fork MPM allows for a single connection per process. So if you want to be able to handle 500 simultaneous connections, then you'll need to start 500 processes, utilizing 500 times the resources of a single process. The worker MPM is a hybrid approach that uses a combination of processes and threads to increase capacity without increasing memory utilization as much. This MPM module adds an additional directive called threads per child that defines the number of threads each process will run. With a default of 25 threads, this means that you can handle 500 connections using just 20 processes, thus dramatically decreasing your required memory. The event MPM is similar to work, but attempts to handle request processing more cleanly by handing off connections which are idle, but being kept open by a browser to separate threads which can easily just sit and wait until additional processes are brought in. Now, there is a very good reason why the pre-fork MPM is the default rather than worker or event. Any code which executes within the Apache web server, like modern PHP, will be running multi-threaded with multi-threaded MPMs. If a module is not thread safe, then you may experience crashes or other problems. Nice! In this video we saw how to improve scaling with the worker MPM. In our next video, we will look at setting up PHP using an Apache module.